Howdy folks, Sapper here, aka Sean, and we're bringing you I believe this is part 4. I always lose track of what part I'm on until I actually go back just before I upload the video and figure out what the last part was. But I believe this is part 4 of Gathering Storm over Asia. So I've combined the two things, right? Because, why not play them both simultaneously? If we're going to be playing a World at War, the big, the whole thing at the same time, right? So that's my conglomeration of these two needlessly complicated monsters. I don't know if there's a better way to put that, but they're complicated for the sake of complication. So I've just finished, I've just finished Spring of 36. So I'll kind of go over what happened. Now, one thing that I do want to clear up, in my last video, I said that I was going to conduct the purges for each side separately, right? Because it just doesn't make sense. Russia's one country. Why would we do two different purges? However, the purge cards for Gathering Storm and the purge cards for Storm over Asia are a little bit different. So they are different. Let me see if I can find an example where. So here's the military purge card. This one is for Gathering Storm. And this one is for Stupid Glare. It's overcast outside, so I do need the lights on in here today. So there we go. So you can see that they are different. So initially I was going to just do one purge card for both sides. Now I've decided that, I probably can't do that because they are a little bit different. So we'll see how that plays out in the end. One thing I also need to do, which I kind of have not been doing, is I'll make sure that I track on these better, like what the income total was and all that at the beginning of the turn. So I kind of haven't done that. I've just kind of added it up for each one and then just gave myself the tile points, and then I didn't really actually, you know what? It's not. I think it's for the other side. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. So I think that they're for Germany. So their support level was at a +1. They did mobilize another factory. So it will be +2 next turn. Additional income, you can see that we have the following trade packs in Germany. So here we go. So we've got, looks like 6 military factories, 5 civilian, 2 idle. Active units, we have 8. Reserve units, there's only 1, but there are a bunch of different, I think that's a plane, yeah. So we've got all those on the track. This counter here is to remind me that Russia cannot mobilize another factory until the fall of 36. There are restrictions on how often Russia can mobilize. Let's see. We've got 1 launched ship. We've got a couple of ships getting ready to be built. Italy has a +2 support level. I'm not quite sure why that is there, but whatever. We have 1 trade pack, 2 civilian factories, 4 military factories. 1 has been mobilized. 5 active units, 1 reserve. We've launched 3 ships. We're getting ready to launch a couple more ships this year. All right, France. This this way means that's a temporary increase. I don't exactly remember why there was a temporary increase in the support level. It is, I thought it might have been on that, but it's not. Oh, here it is right here. So this is the national random event, or the economic event that affects everybody. So increases the economic trend. Poland got a +1 to diplomatic. and then French get a +1 support level. So that's why that counter is on there. Oh, also, I almost forgot, balance of power is 0, aggression index is 4, the economic climate is +1. So there we go. So we were at 0 last turn, now we go up to +1. All right, so France has +2 support level. They had 2 trade packs, I'll go over that in a minute, but now they only have 1. 2 civilian factories, 4 military factories, and there's the one there. Got 6 active units, no reserve units, 2 shipyard. Well, the shipyards for France are always at 2. We've got 2 launch ships, and then we're looking to launch another one at the end of the year. Britain has a +1 support level, has 1 trade pact for civilian factories, 4 military factories, 4 active units, no reserve units. We've mobilized a third shipyard. Nope, I'm sorry. That's supposed to be there. So no, we have not. We started with 3 shipyards. 2 launch ships, and then we've got 3 ships that will be built by the end of the year. Russia, +1 support level. Added income, if that squeaking noise is probably, hey, what are you doing over there? It's a little doggy. That's Clover right there. She came in here. She wanted to play for whatever reason. It's probably because I'm doing videos, so she's like, well, I'm going to make a lot of noise and play with my little sock with the squeaky toys. You know how dogs are with squeaky toys. They can't resist. So if you hear that squeaking noise, that's just her. She's normally not in here, but it's probably because, again, I'm doing some video. So the purge event on this side was research or diplomatic expenditures prohibited. We did not do research this turn. Purge level is at 6 on this side of the globe. On the other side of the globe, I don't remember exactly what it is, but we'll get over there. All right, 10 factories, 2 idle. It looks like, 7 military. The garrison, I want to say, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I think. The garrison stuff is so confusing sometimes. So that's one of those things where they've needlessly complicated things. So there's Russia. Let's go over to the other side of the globe. This can get super confusing too. So the Japanese aggression index is permanently at a +1 because Japan invaded northern China. The economic climate over here is 0, so there's really no effect. Japan, it looks like we have a +8 support level. And see, over on this side, they actually track income. There's not like an income level, but they kind of track income over here. So it looks like we earned 11 tile points. I don't know why they can't just say, money, whatever it is. 4 factories, civilian, 3 idle. And then 4 military factories. They have mobilized 1. Active units are 7, so you got to track. See, this is another thing. You have to track information in multiple places. So the active units get tracked here. The active units get tracked here. We've got 1 reserve unit. Okay, it looks like our shipyards are at 2. We've got 2 ships that will not be finished this year, but they'll actually continue construction. It looks like our garrison is a surplus over here. So basically how you figure out surplus so you've got this down here. So you would think that if that's a good way to do it. You would think if we were here, that would be a +1. That would be a +2. That would be a +3, right? Because you've got this track down here at the bottom, but that's not how it gets tracked. So where the Russians, you don't start counting until you find the stuff that is not equal, right? Well, there's probably a better way to explain that. But so the Japanese have 3 units more than the Russians. So that is where, so you could kind of look at it like this, right? So now my support level is at a +2. Let's see here. Did I cover Britain already? No, I didn't. So we got Britain and Russia. So Britain is at a support level of 0 because we've got a couple negative modifiers. A couple positive modifiers. British cohesion is at a +1 because that's kind of the way it works right there. Let's see. Russia is at a 0 support level. I believe that they are at a cohesion of 8. Their purge level is at 6 because I think I was going off of that one over there while I got caught up to this point in time. But now, now I'm going to track them independently. So the aggression index gives you a +1, and then what's that one for? I think it's because they have a military unit, which, yeah, here's their military unit. I know none of this probably makes sense. Half the time it doesn't even make sense to me. China looks like our support level is at a +4, or income total. Chinese cohesion is at a deficit at the moment, so it is at a -1. Oh, you know what? I bet you I didn't include that in there. So let me support levels at a -1. So that means they should have 1 less money. And I'll make sure. Do I have it? Yeah, I can do this right here. So now I can do that. Boom. There we go. All is right in the world now, for temporarily. Let's see, the United Front. We can't really do the United Front because you have to have a positive overall net modifier, which right now the negatives are better by 1. So we can't do the United Front yet. I'm still a little bit confused. China's a super confusing thing because you basically have all these different factions fighting for China. So you have Japan, you have the warlord. So you have Japan, you've got the warlords, you've got the nationalist Chinese, and then you have the communist Chinese. So the communist Chinese are represented by Russian flags. So I don't really know how that is going to affect a world at war yet, having not played it before. The Japanese naval garrison. So I borrowed these tokens from World in Flames. And because the way they had it set up, if I'm not mistaken, so you initially place these counters here, right? And whenever Japan launches a ship, they go on the positive track. But they have set up here, but basically they wanted to be able to represent that there's a U.S. offset in naval production. I don't know why they chose to do that. So from the beginning of the game, when you do your initial setup, it would theoretically look like that. But they wanted to offset U.S. production, so they do that. So at the beginning of the game, you know what? I don't even know how to explain it, but I've basically decided that this is how I'm going to do it. So I borrowed some counters from World in Flames to represent. This is the U.S. Navy buildup. So each turn, well, not each turn. Yeah, each turn. So every turn, the U.S. increases their naval garrison by 1. And the Japanese are trying to compete with that. So basically right now we're even. So the Japanese naval garrison is equal to the U.S. naval garrison or U.S. naval production or whatever, however you want to look at it. Let's see. I think that's it for kind of like the status. That was income, economic. Let's go over to the research. That's something I really haven't covered a whole lot. So we'll go ahead and I'll just kind of show you the research sheets. All right. Let's see here. All right. This is what we have done so far in China. So green is spring, summer, fall, winter. Yep, spring, summer, fall, and then winter. So they have invested Chinese Army, Chinese Air, a little bit in elite units, a little bit in partisans. Now, some of these things that you can look in your transition books to kind of see where these things will have effects in a world at war. I don't really know, how this stuff is going to pan out when we actually get to play in a world at war. But, maybe that's a good thing that I'm going into it blind. Burma Road, definitely want to get the Burma Road done because that will help with the British will be able to transfer resource points to China by having the Burma Road. So I've got one result in the Burma Road. So that's the minimum requirement, is if you want to be able to do that. So I've got the Burma Road enough to where the British can contribute resource points to China. And then, of course, you've got the intelligence track, which are these 4 things. Those are progressing nicely. Pacific Theater British research. So we're going to do the Australian light ships. So Australia will be able to produce ships in a world at war. Chindits, that's a Indian ground unit. I don't know if that's the way to go or not, but hey, we're going to find out if these Chindits can affect the outcome of World War II in the Pacific. So I've been investing heavily in the Chindits. And then there's the British intelligence area that we've been focusing on. Is that... here we go. Japan. Let's see what's Japan doing. All right, Japan. We're trying to increase our air range. I think that, with all the islands and island hopping and everything, I think air range seemed like a good idea. We'll see if that actually pans out to be a good idea. Naval air training and carrier design. I definitely want to get Japan's carrier, the ability to produce carriers up there. Battleship design, ASW research. So we threw a point in that. I might go on and as time goes by, throw some more in there. Submarines. I want to see what happens if Japan invests heavily in submarines. If submarine in the Pacific will make a big deal, because you really don't hear a whole lot about submarine warfare in the Pacific in World War II. It probably happened, but it's not one of those things that's well known. Specialized units. And then, of course, this is one that's confusing. You can't conduct atomic research until certain random events are revealed in the game. But these 2 things are the atomic category. So atomic research and radar are in the atomic category. It says you can't conduct atomic research. So I'm unclear if that includes radar. So is radar something that you are not allowed to put research points in until those random events happen? Or is it only atomic research? I'm confused about that. That's why I've only really put 1 point in there. Because I think, honestly, radar would be a great thing for every country to invest in. And then, of course, here's our intelligence. And then Indian subversion. If you get some results in that, it makes it more expensive for Britain to do things in India. What those things are, I don't remember off the top of my head. Because, again, there's so much in this game to track at any one time. Like, you're going to forget. All right. Germany and Italy. So the Axis powers in Europe. I want to invest heavily in jets. What that will do is, in a world at war, it will allow you to, I think, start using jets earlier than what was historically possible. So I don't think jets really appeared in Europe in World War II until almost the end of the war. Like, Germany brought out its first couple of jets, and by that time it was really too late. They were really ineffective. So I want to see if I can get jets in the game earlier, what that might do. Throwing some stuff into air range. Battleship design, well, that's Italian battleship design because of the color. So, Italy has a pretty good navy, and I want to continue to advance that. Germany is I really want to do the advanced subs and the torpedoes, obviously, because Germany really relied on that in the North Atlantic to try to thwart aid from North America. So I want to see if I get that up higher, what'll happen there. Submarines, obviously, Germans' armor advantage was always a big deal until they started invading Russia. Rockets. Now here it says Axis starting research results, specialized units. So I don't think it should be there. I think you just get a chit and then you still have to research all the way to there. I haven't put any more points into specialized units, so it really doesn't matter. And then there's our intelligence research allocations. Okay. Britain and France. Air range, knowing historically what happened, right, with the Germans doing their air campaign over England. I want to get England's air range higher. I want to get their air defense high. I don't think that should be there because, again, it says right here, British starting research results, strategic bombers, and naval air training. So they get those two chits that went on the balance of power track. I don't think it should actually be there. Battleship design, ASW research, ASW, right? Because the British, they want to try to stop, they want to counter the Nazis' submarine research, or submarines, U-boats. France is investing heavily in the Maginot Line. Economic prep, that'll help you just with money in the later game. Radar, which, again, I'm not sure if I can do that or not. And then here's the intelligence piece. And then finally, we have Russia. What's Russia doing as far as research? Armor, I'm going to put more into that, obviously, because Russian armor was, the Germans were not ready for those T-34s when they invaded Russia. So it was a big shock to them. And that's kind of why the Tiger tank and the Panther tanks were invented, because of what the Nazis discovered when they invaded Russia. Those T-34s, man, that was a rude awakening. Rockets, obviously, Russia's known for their rocket artillery. Again, I don't think that result is supposed to be there, but it says right here at the bottom. So that kind of confused me at first, but I don't think I should have a result there. They just have an airborne chit. And then here is their intelligence, and again, radar. I don't know if we're supposed to do that. So that's what I've been doing for research. Let's see here. Diplomatic phase. We'll go over that real quick, and then that'll be pretty much it. So Germany's positioning itself to try to take over this area. So we threw some diplomacy into Czechoslovakia. What ended up happening is there was a French flag there. So basically, France lost their trade pact with Czechoslovakia. This ended up being a zero result up here because the ones cancel each other out. So nothing happened in Finland, but both Russia and the Germans are kind of struggling over Finland. Poland. So this was a random British event. Let's see here. Where is it? Nope, not that one. French. Yeah, so France gets a +1 there. So these two things cancel each other out. So nothing happens in Poland. Romania. So these would knock each other out. There was the British random event, which gives you a +2 to Romania. So that basically gets removed. Italy is stupid glare, man. Italy's trying to get control over Albania. I think they're going to end up doing an aggression one of these days, but right now, with the EAI being so high, I was reluctant to do that. And honestly, there's no hurry. It's 1936. So Italy continues to push into Albania. Russia is like, you know what? I don't want the Nazis into Turkey, so that basically gets pushed out. Let's see what else. I think that covers everything diplomatically in Europe. Let's go over to the Pacific. Looks like we got some gunboat diplomacy here in Thailand, so that basically knocks out the Japanese flag. British are continuing to get involvement in Southeast Asia, so added an additional flag there. Japan, having already conquered northern China, is continuing its expansion into China, so basically Shanghai is their next target. I don't think I can do a 5th flag there. I think 4 is the most you can have. And lastly, let's see. Oh, so we got the communists. The commies are moving into Shenzhai. The commies are moving into Sichuan. This is one of the other things. There's no consistency between the two games, right? So in Gathering Storm, you can't have flags from opposing factions, right? So you can't have, with the exception, I think, of Poland. So you can't have, for example, you can't have Nazi flags and French flags in Belgium. So if I had a diplomatic result in Belgium where the Nazis could add a flag, you would just remove a French flag, right? But in Storm over Asia, you can have mixed flags within a given spot. So I don't understand why they didn't keep consistency there, but whatever. Where do we go? I think that's about it. So that's kind of where we stand. Oh, we got some Japanese from their mobilization. That's the only thing that's on there right now. I think that's it. So, yeah, it's getting a little bit easier. Is it still confusing? Yeah, but it's getting a little bit easier. And one of the things that I really do enjoy about it is just the research aspect of it. Thinking about, well, you know, if I'm Germany, you know, what if I decided to spend all of my, concentrate heavily on jets? Like what kind of outcome is that going to have by the end of the game? That's the thing that I think is really neat about this, is you can explore different things that didn't historically happen. Like I really want to push the jets just to see, what that is going to do to the game. So this is probably one of my favorite parts, is just doing the research. I love during the research phase deciding, what I want to do. But anyway, that is it for spring of 1936 in A Gathering Storm over Asia. Thanks for watching. All right, folks, I have just completed, I was about ready to say summer of 36. Actually, you know what? I did not do the crisis phase, but I think I don't think that the Axis powers want to do crisis quite yet. I want to wait until I get, because I either want to do Czechoslovakia or Austria, because I want those extra factories. So I kind of want to wait until the political situation in either one of these two places gets more in favor, obviously, of Germany. So looking at the balance of power, so the Italy managed to construct a couple of ships. I think they constructed one. Anyway, the balance of power has changed a little bit. So we're at a -1, which means if it's a negative, it's in the Allies' favor. So the Allies still have balance of power in favor of them in the Navy. But I know I constructed a bunch of extra land units, so we have a net of +2 balance of power for the Axis powers. There's a lot of ships that are getting ready to be constructed. Technically I can't do this aircraft carrier here or this aircraft carrier here. I didn't realize it, but I haven't done, I think it's naval air training, which I didn't realize that. I'm going to let the ships, I'm going to let them be constructed because I'm not going to go back and undo all that. But technically I couldn't do that. The Allies had some really bad random events. So France had support level. Nope, not that one. British had a -3 support level. And then France had a... Oh, that was only a -2 support level. So let me give them 1 tile point back. But they both got really unlucky draws on the support levels, which could have been defeated if they... So you get +1 for each intelligence research result, but none of them... because it's so early yet in the game, nobody has research results, intel research results. It takes several turns for that to happen. Well, British is sitting on a ton of money. They're cruising along with their navy. You can see expenditures. Russia got unlucky and they drew the Great Purge, and I believe they also drew, they drew the Great Purge on the Pacific side as well. Good thing is they won't get that next turn. But so basically the Allies had low support and a Great Purge over here. But you can see military expenditures. France, I think they laid down a ship. I want to say... I don't remember. Yeah, there's so much going on, I don't even remember. I think that they just advanced a ship is probably what happened. I don't remember, honestly. Spent some extra on research. Britain spent some extra money on research. Italy, I think they probably launched a ship. Built some infantry, spent some money on research. Germany, I want to say that's they basically completed construction of a ship, or they just advanced it. One of those two things happened. Spent some extra money on research, spent some money building some infantry. And then diplomacy-wise, let's see what happens. So I haven't done anything with the results yet. So it looks like we advanced the Axis cause here in Turkey. It looks like Italy now has full political support of Albania. That's one of the things I want to do, is I want to conquer Albania. It looks like we got some stuff going on in Yugoslavia here. Hungary. Italy was busy this turn. Well, that was a random event that happened right here, so that couldn't do anything. Those two negate each other. All of this negates each other. Germany tried to do a little bluff here in Poland. It looks like England was a little bit more successful in Norway. And then here we got France is going to get that trade pact with Spain. So we'll put this over here. There we go. Look at that. Completed the Maginot Line, or completed one result for the Maginot Line. So that increases their support level. Let's see here. Oh, I think I want to say that, Germany converted an idle factory to a civilian, which allowed them to get an extra activity marker, which can only be used for research. Yeah, I think that's it on this side. So, things are progressing. Things are starting to move along. And then over here, let's see what happened. We got the Great Purge, which kind of sucked. But we got both of those cards out, so Russia should be able to do some stuff here in the next couple of turns. I think Japan converted another factory. I'm pretty sure they did, yeah, because there's the factory token right there. Japan completed a couple of, no, they didn't complete ships, but they did complete naval air training and carrier design, which will allow them to build CV3s. That's how I figured out what I was doing over here on the European side was wrong, because I hadn't researched the... For Europe, there is no carrier, there's no carrier design in Europe. So it's just naval air training. But so that got the naval, that helps out the naval, the Japanese naval garrison. Got some results in partisans. So I think that was a China thing. But still, there's still a positive result for the Japanese for the army garrison. Of course, the naval garrison's tied. Let's see what else happened. Everybody had plenty of money. Looks like China. What did China do? They spent some money on research. Japan spent, yep, they converted a factory. Japan spent some money on research. They spent money on ships. Let's see here. Diplomacy. I forgot to draw the warlord card last turn, so I think one warlord went here and one warlord went here. So, lost the trade pact here because of the warlords. It looks like Japan tried to bluff. Britain decided to send their navy into Malaya, so now Britain... Well, let me get another... Where are my British flags? Here we go. All right. So we got that going on there. Looks like China is doing some diplomacy in Yunnan. So we'll do that. Those two things are going to cancel out. This is just a garrison, so you leave that there to show that the Japanese actually have a military unit in northern China. If there's a result, or not a result, a revolt thing that goes on. So I haven't had a revolt yet, so I don't really don't know how it works. China spent one diplomacy here in Shanghai, but a Japanese random event kind of canceled that out. So that is it. Everybody's still posturing. We're still trying to research, to me, seems like more of the focus, right? So you're just basically trying to establish your country and do as much stuff as you can with whatever alliance you're with for a world at war. So basically it's all about, the research and kind of the posturing. I'll end up seeing, once I finish these, I'll end up being able to see what the results of what I've done when I do the transition. So, but anyway, there you have it. We've got half the year done for both sides. I think I'll probably load this up because the amount of stuff that's going on now within a year is getting to be quite a bit. But thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy it.